Amazing friends. I am honoured to be living with Brian Frank Cahill from Ireland. How you doing today, Brian? What's going on?
Ed, how are you? I'm doing absolutely awesome. Thank you very much.
Now, I got to say, we're so honoured to be living with you. It's 8:30 p.m. my time on Tuesday in Sydney, Australia. What time is it in beautiful Ireland?
So it's 11 a.m. So we're, what are you, 9 hours ahead?
Wow. Now, Brian, it's so good having you with us. And we're just talking a bit off camera about a few things about me. And I'd love to hear your thoughts live on the line. Now, as you know, I put on about 20 kilos over the past 2 years of lockdown, and I've lost 16 of them. I've only got 4 kilos left to go. Does it look like I've lost weight, Brian?
You do look actually a bit slimmer around the neck, the face. I noticed.
Yeah. Now, I was going to ask you, first thing I want to ask you about lockdown, right? I've been speaking to a lot of friends lately who have said to me, shit, Ed, I'm still having to lose my lockdown weight. The first thing I want to ask you, to those who are still carrying those lockdown pounds or kilos, what do you say to people who are still carrying those lockdown pounds that want to get rid of them?
I think I would just be blunt right now. Like lockdown, I know it's different area. It's still potentially happening in different areas, but like stop making excuses. If you want to lose weight, you can find a way to lose weight. If you have the right person with the right method to help you, and make it not overwhelming, and you commit yourself. Like myself, I suppose I could relate myself to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and in the beginning of my journey, I kind of lost, feeling stuck, and getting defeated and just feeling out of my depth. And it wasn't until I committed to that journey, that vision of what I wanted to be and how I wanted to improve, that I started to improve, and I really started to enjoy it. And it's the same with weight loss. You gotta commit yourself. When you commit yourself to the journey, the process, new routines, new habits, you start moving away from what brought you to that point, that's when the magic happens.
And I love how you called it. And in a way, you called out my own failure, which I really appreciate in that you got to go for it. I suppose you're trying to say you got to decide you want to get healthy. You got to decide you got to do it. You got to decide to go after it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And we've got a few reactions as well. We've got Ricky Leanne, who lives down the road from me. Wow, what a surprise. Did you link me to this live talk? Love to stay, but need to go. You're magical. We love you, Ricky. We've got Kemi Atakumbi watching us on YouTube. We love you, Kemi. And we've got Titus and Kishore. So big welcome. If you just come in, smash that like, sharing, comment, and connect with Brian. Now, Brian, the other thing I want to talk to you about as well is you might have seen it, is that I hurt my back about a week ago. Really, it was bad, all right? So I'll tell you the story. You got kids and more kids than me, so I was lifting my little boy out of the bathtub, and I felt a little ping in my hip and my back. And I thought, I'm sure that was nothing. Nothing's going on here. And so I just did my thing. I went to bed, and I could not get out of bed the next day. Part of my back had locked up. I was in absolute agony. And after a day or two, I eventually went to the chiropractor. And what I did was I actually strained my hip a little bit, and it caused all my muscles to spasm all up around it, right? Anyway, the chiro, I'm doing pretty well now. The chiro got it going, but basically he actually said this to me straight up: Ed, you got to lose weight, you got to stretch more, and you got to correct your posture. So in other words, I did it to myself, right? I blame myself for causing the problem. Can you give a bit of commentary as to what I did wrong and how I contributed to my own demise, Brian?
Well, firstly, congratulations on the chiropractor. It was like, you got to lose weight, you got to exercise, you have to correct your posture. Because a lot of professionals don't actually give you what you're meant to do sometimes. Yeah. Just tell you need to do a few things. And it's not always about stretching. So with myself and my coaching school, the Frank Fit School of Health and Fitness, I use like a unique method so I can get transformational results. Now, I have a client works in financial services and had a back operation. really stiff. And although he always put himself out there physically, he always lacked the mobility. So he was struggling with mobility, struggling with stiffness, back pain, painkillers, and just like, do you ever wake up, Ed, and you just feel a bit yucky and you feel stiff, you feel sore, and it maybe takes you until about 2 p.m. in the afternoon before you've actually lit up, you know?
Yeah, I've been
So,
like that for the past week. Like, I'm
yeah,
all right now, but some days, like if I get up, 6 a.m. in the morning, it would be absolute agony getting out of bed. Especially, you know how you're getting out of bed. You sort of, let's say you're lying like this, and I sleep on the right hand side of the bed, and then as you put your legs on the ground and your back sort of leans back, just absolute agony as I do that, right? And sometimes it would
yeah,
take me 5 minutes to get out of bed. I'm like, and on a funny note, I know this is bad, but I should say it. But one day I was so bad walking down the street. This is before I went to the Cairo. I looked like I was tamed. People were stopping and showing pity on me. Elderly were overtaking me. And at one point, I was crossing the road and I couldn't cross the road fast enough, and cars were waiting. But people could tell I was injured. They were like, "Oh, you're cool." And I was like,
yeah,
"I've never felt so much pity directed at me before." It was amazing. Yeah, I was like that. I was like,
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
and it
Everything
was
hurts.
just well. Firstly, I just want to say thank you. Yeah, people are amazing. When they know you're injured, they leave you alone. Right? They knew I was hobbling along, but it was just such a it was a bit of a wake up call for me, Brian, because even though I've been losing weight, this is thought shit. Well, I suppose what bothers me the most is I did this to myself. If I didn't put on the weight, this never would have happened. So the problem is I'm the cause of the situation. That's a jagged pill I hate to swallow, but I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah. So if we go back to my client, and he never put his mobility first. He always put just exercise, exercise hard, and it had a direct result in the stiffness, the pain, the back injury. Now, with my method, he was able to start to put mobility first, and just through some simple techniques and creating a time slot that no matter where he was, who he was with, he put a little routine together that I created to help him loosen up and mobilize. So he started to gain that posture, that free flowing motion, that open movement that you get from the early point of the day rather than a late point in the day. And really that's when he started to put himself first. He started to feel better, he had better energy, his posture was better. And like through the direct result of the back operation, he'd lost the feeling in his heel of his foot. And after 3 to 6 months of kind of working with me and following these new habits, these new routines, he got that feeling back. And I mean, that's just amazing. I'm completely shocked. I couldn't believe it. So for yourself, and you had the back pain, it can be funny. It can be a lot of different reasons that all lead to the direct pain, whether it's the bad posture or it's sitting for long periods of time, or slouching, like the text neck, you get stuck
Yeah.
here, and the problem with that, long periods at the desk, you're not contracting and relaxing. You're stuck at this position, and like we see it, like when you see someone with bad posture, like you realize you see it, and it's not a good body image,
Yeah.
but perhaps they just never knew. They
Yeah.
never realized. They didn't take short breaks from the screen. They didn't learn to strengthen the right muscles, and it was just never made clear to them. So when you learn to strengthen the right muscles and you become aware of your posture, you stand up taller, you own your body image, you own your clothes, you become a head turner like yourself, Ed.
I love it. Now it's interesting you say that because again, I'm a LinkedIn guy. I don't spend too much time on my PC, but I'm always on my phone like this, right? I'm always
Yeah.
like that on my phone, right? Albeit I actually don't spend too much time on a PC. So I was going to say, you were going to show us some exercises to help with our posture and some moves. What were you thinking, Brian?
Okay. So, hey, let me just get this
Ooh,
top off here.
cool. Is this too hot for LinkedIn, Brian? There we go.
So yeah, the gums are right. My posture. A lot of people, when they think exercise, they go straight to the press ups. They go straight to the bench press. All right. They go to the deadlift, and they forget a lot of pulling exercises. And even with a lot of benching, people who are benching all the time, they create this press and movement, and their shoulders become protracted, and their neck sticks out, and they get stuck. If they're on the phone, can you not just stop and look at your phone and just send a message? Do you really have to slice you around like this? Like that's what I see, and that pisses me off a little bit, because long term it's having a really bad effect on your posture. And we've all seen those senior citizens who maybe perhaps just never knew about strengthening the right kind of muscles. They believed if they worked all hard all the time, they didn't need exercise, and their posture is awful. And then you have someone who's maybe aware and their posture is really good and they stand tall and they don't have those shoulder issues. So for me, if I was to give you like 3 pulling exercises, and there's always a lot more you can do. First up, let's just talk about taking a short break from the computer or your phone and thinking about your neck, all right? So we're thinking posturing, okay? We're here. We're like the Terminator. We're tall. And I'm just going to tilt my head from the top. So let's just say like 5 to 10 reps of each. Really simple. Take a break from your phone. Take a break from the screen. 5 to 10. Okay. And it's the same thing at the side. 5 to 10. So your posture's in, and you just go on to the side. Now the posture's back. I'm going to the other side. I'm going to keep the posture, keep my shoulders back. I'm going to go side to side.
Oh, this is good.
I'm going to keep that posture and I'm going to tilt down. Side to side. That's just a little bit of contracting or relaxing the muscles, a bit of movement in the neck, but also being aware of the posture. And like core strength can come into it. Sometimes you stretch, you feel great, but are you really strengthening the right muscles? Not all the time. So here's 3 pillow movements that definitely should be done to help strengthen the right kind of muscles, to keep the shoulders in the right position. And bear in mind, this doesn't happen overnight. Just because you do it for a week, it doesn't happen. It's a long-term thing, don't forget. So you've got the rings, and I'm just going to go like elbows kind of flared, like a row, all right, elbows flared. But remember posture, okay? Elbows are here. Don't have to use rings. You can use cables. You can use bands. I'll hold the ropes because it'll be out of the screen. Here we go. So elbows flared. How to get that right angle. So here we go. Elbows flared. Posture. Okay, up to the chest. So with an elbows kind of flared row, you're going to directly hit into your lower traps in between the shoulder blades. But keep the posture, range maybe 6 to 10 reps, and add a pause in at the end, so an isometric hold, so you're locked in there while your muscles are contracting. Also, a really important one, the face pull. Pull towards your face, and when you pull towards your face, you do an external rotation, like so. So you pull towards the face, external rotation. So face, and then external rotation. All right. Face, external rotation. and you keep your posture, you don't stick your neck out, and you pause for maybe 5 to 10 seconds at the end. That's two really good movements to work on. With rings, to make it harder, you go down lower. And it's the same sort of thing, but hang the rings up and work. You can use a band. You're traveling, all right? You're traveling. Bring a band with you, resistance band. Little bit of posture work before, when you wake up or whatever way your day works, and that's going to last you and help you stand up tall, own the clothes you're kind of wearing, and not slouch into work. I have a client and business executive and really good at business, but the health and fitness had went down. So he wasn't putting his health and fitness first. He wasn't putting, his training, his exercise, his nutrition first. His work was up here, but his energy was dropping as a direct result. He was stress eating. His posture was bad. He was slouching, and he found himself going into board meetings, struggling like this here, and then, a poor body image, and that was having an effect on him. But more an effect on how quick he was showing up with work, decision making, and an overall effect then on going after hunting leads, hunting new work, and I suppose turnover. Now, through putting this health and fitness first and creating the balance so they're bang on even, he's been able to push on again with work, get new contracts, actually start to become self-aware of his posture, how he feels, how he looks, how he feels others feel about him. So that would be that's a couple simple moves, and there's no reason why anybody can't do those.
Wow. No, brilliant, Brian. In fact, it got me thinking because I was saying before when we were speaking before off camera, and this is terrible, by the way. It's almost 8:45 p.m. Sydney time, and I've only walked 4,000 steps today. I've only been out of the house once today. So after we finish this live, I'm going to go for a 45-minute walk, finish my 6,000 steps. But it's funny. I like what you're saying, because what I find is if I'm at home all day and I'm using my PC and my phone, I'm feeling like twisted after a while. And I find after just even 10 minutes of going for a walk, I find in a way my posture corrects itself. Just by merely going for a walk, I can feel myself sort of stretching and unwinding. It's funny, you can really feel the neck, can't you? When I start walking, I can in a way feel my neck sort of relieving tension-wise, right? I just want to ask you, 10,000 steps a day, that's been my magic number. You told me that. Tell us the importance of going for a simple walk and how that can help as well.
Getting out and getting some fresh air, and it's easy. I forget sometimes as I'm walking that I've slouched down a little bit. You become aware and you walk up quite tall. And when you do walk like that, you stand out because you notice other people are slouching a lot. Yeah. It's important to get your steps in. People do say 10,000 is the magic mark, but someone who generally maybe doesn't move that much and they're only really hitting on average 3,000, then, well, I suppose 4,000 or 5,000 should be their target. And you can slowly build it up. You're not just going to start pinging off 10,000s all the time, because it takes time. You mentioned about the back pain, and the posture. And one thing, I suppose, which is really important that I feel is a movement called the Jefferson curl. Would you like, perhaps I could show you?
Please.
Yeah. So what we're going to do here, we're going to stand up tall, and then we're going to round our spine from the neck down. So each vertebra will create different, like a segmentation all the way down. And through that, you're strengthening your spine as it extends down, or as it flexes down, sorry. So let me see. Right, I'll just stand in the box here, okay? Now, if you never do this, do it gently. Just stay relaxed and don't force it, all right? You should do it with straight legs. So we're straight, all right? My neck rounds, my shoulders round. And I slowly go down. And I'm feeling my spine, nice and slow, starting to curve, round. I like to come out, stand on the step at my back of my house and do this in the morning. Nice and easy. You're not always going to feel 100%. You're not always going to go fast. You go down to wherever you can, right? So you pause down there, my legs are still straight. If your hamstrings are tight, you might not be able to get that deep. Push your butt back a little bit, and then you straighten your spine. Back up into that posture. That's pretty cool. Now, as you progress, you can add some weight to that. What do you see? All right, so I've got 2 weights. I'm going to see my feet. Okay, so I've got 2 weights. All right, I've got that posture. I'm going to start off pretty low. Neck, shoulders, upper back, your thoracic spine, lower spine, lumbar spine. Down we go. My legs are straight. Feel my spine slowly pulling apart. This is scary. This scares people because they have back pain, they have fear. All the way down to wherever you go, you start to feel a hip hinge. That's your tailbone coming up. And you pause back there.
Wow.
And then you pause 5 seconds, and then you straighten.
Oh.
Back up. Really good, really awesome. If you're not doing those, add those in it. I'm expecting a LinkedIn tag, an Instagram tag, a Facebook tag of you doing your Jeffersons. Start low, couple 5 kg kettlebells. Start low, build up the confidence to start adding weight, but your spine will feel better. Now, it's not to say you'll not get back pain at some point, because we all suffer from it, and it can happen from any reason, really. Overreaching, picking up your kids. Some things happen. Playing sport, it happens. But this little move will really help you. And could I give you one more?
Yes, please. I'm loving this. It feels like I'm just watching someone on YouTube. It's like I'm sitting in my kitchen watching YouTube. So take your time, go for it, Brian.
Okay. So if I was to give you a variation on that, and it's another movement, doesn't take much equipment, doesn't take too much time, but it's got a lot of benefits. All right. Now my hamstrings are pretty mobile, as you've seen there. Don't expect to get it like that. Right? Don't expect to get it like that, except where you are, and build on it. All right. So here we go. So it's the same sort of thing. I'm going to hold a little weight here. All right. I'm going to get down into my kind of low squat position. All right. And I'm going to slowly round from wherever you are. Now I'm quite low again.
Wow.
I'm going to round, instead of being here, I'm going to round. Okay. Same thing. You can hold the weight here, or you can let it hang off if you're on a box. Okay, so it's the same thing. Rounded spine, under a little bit of tension with the weight. Maybe pause for 5 seconds or so. And then straighten. Here we go. Here's the move. Straighten.
Wow.
And straighten from the bottom down. That's the Jefferson curl. That's a squat variation. It'll help you in your lower squat, because you mentioned sitting, and tight hips is a big issue when it comes to back pain and stiffness and lack of mobility. And put your hips first.
Yes, I love where you're going, and Brian, I got to say I'm absolutely impressed. And I want to actually ask you a slightly different question. You are a fit Terminator. So if Skynet was to take over the world, they should definitely capture you to clone for Terminators. We all agree with that, right? Now,
I'm in.
absolutely. I think you'd be a great template for a Terminator to destroy humanity. My, my question is though, for someone, I'm asking about Edward's ear a year ago. For someone who's unhealthy, they haven't been working out, their body is in pain, they don't know where to start. Where do you suggest for beginners to get started? What are some of the beginner steps?
Okay, so if I went back to a client of mine, overweight, frustrated, clothes aren't fitting right, frustrated with how he feels,
Yeah,
what his energy's like,
that's me a year ago. Perfect.
confidence is
Exactly.
down, how other people feel about him, that's the challenge, that's what we're facing. And we start small with a little bit of exercise, core strength, water intake, what's our sleep like, and looking into maybe our nutrition a little bit, and you start to just add those things in slowly. But like with myself and Frankfurt School of Health and Fitness, I'm about getting into the root of the problem. I don't deal with surface. Let's go deep on this. Let's find out why, what got you to this point, what the issues were. Are you emotional eating? What brought you to that point? And then how can we get past it? If you've never eaten enough protein, why is that? Why has it never been important to you? Some people just want to go balls to the walls and they want to exercise mad and they have the rocky mindset and they reckon, yeah. But it's definitely not like that. So if I talk about my client, overweight, frustrated, clothes not fitting right, starts to add in new routines, energy starts to go up, starts to increase his strength, his posture starts to improve, his core strength starts to improve, starts to do more, have a bigger impact in work. Clothes start fitting better, confidence is feeling better, going up again. He has this new quality, inspiring standard of training. People are looking at him, their heads are turning. What's this guy doing in the gym? Energy's good. He's bossing it in the boardroom. He's got these nice new suits on. He's feeling good about himself. He's confident. He's doing the right exercise. He's not second guessing himself. He knows it's working, and that's transformation.
Yeah. And I love where you're going. I love everything that you're about. And to our friends watching, please like, share, comment, and connect with Brian. Obviously, a great choice for this. I love where you're going about, and you've made this point over and over again, which I absolutely love, is about adding small things. Because I remember when I was in the fitness and hole during the peak of lockdown, and looking back on it's adding those small things that digs you out of it. Because you're right. I love how, the whole Rocky thing, that doesn't work in real life. If you do the whole Rocky thing, you're going to injure yourself and be back in the chiro, right? It's all about, I love how you say, it's all about adding those little steps to what you're doing and building yourself from there. So you're saying like drinking water, going for walks, sleeping are some of the basics. Then, of course, all the advanced cool stuff that we see you doing.
Yeah, just adding in some little movements into your daily life. You create new habits and new routines. And like, if you never really exercise that much, well, you're never going to just start exercising 3 times a week, So let's try once. Let's see how our body reacts. And then let's maybe add in something else, which isn't that long, and make sure it works around your lifestyle. Make sure it works around the time that you've got. If you've got 10 minutes, then we're doing 10 minutes exercise.
Wow, brilliant. Now, Brian, big thank you. We're almost up to half an hour, and I just want to say a big thank you to our fans across the world. Please like, share, and comment, connect with Brian. Brian, as we finish up, I just want to give you the monologue closing thoughts. Please give us some closing thoughts for all our wonderful fans across the world. What are you thinking, Brian?
Okay, straight up, don't hide behind others. Don't make excuses. If you want to change, you have to put yourself first in a certain aspect. And you're only going to do that if you step up and go after what you want.
Oh, brilliant. Well said. And Brian, before you go as well, If people want to hire you, how can they get into contact with you? How can they get into contact with you, and how does your programs and coaching and mentoring work?
Awesome. Well, I'm Brian Cahill, as you know, and I specialize in helping business professionals improve their body image through their health and fitness. So how do I do that? Well, I have different programs that work specifically for different people, and generally I don't know exactly what it is that you want or whoever I'm talking to. So I love to find out a little bit more about you. And I might not even be the right guy for you. That's cool. You might not like me. That's fine. But let's dig a little bit into what you want, where you are right now, and what's stopping you get to where you want to be. You can get me on LinkedIn here. Drop me a message, DM. You can get me on Instagram or Facebook. Frank Fit Me.
Brian, I got to say thank you again. We love you heaps. And Brian, I just want to wish you the best and just keep up the winning.
Let's go, Ed. Thanks very much. Appreciate it.